When I walked into the courtroom, she rolled her eyes. That same dismissive flick she used to give me whenever I'd start talking about my dreams. The one that said, "You'll never be more than average." But today, her smirk didn't reach her eyes, because the judge had just frozen mid-sentence, his gaze flicking between her and me. "Wait," he said slowly, "the charges are against you?" And that's when it started, the unraveling. 3 years ago, I was nobody, or at least that's how she made me feel. We lived in a small apartment, both pretending the cracks in our life were just paint peeling off the walls. I worked late, trying to build something of my own, a small investment firm, a chance to prove myself. She said she believed in me, but I knew better. Her belief always came with an expiration date. I remember the night I caught her phone lighting up at 2 a.m. "Still awake?" the message said. From him. I didn't confront her then. I watched, listened, counted every lie that dripped from her mouth. It's strange how betrayal doesn't hit like thunder. It seeps, silent and slow, until you drown. A week later, she moved out. She said she'd found someone more stable, someone who already made it. I didn't beg. I let her go. What she didn't know was that 2 days later, my grandfather died, and my world, the one she'd spat on, shifted forever. The old man was a ghost in the business world. Cold, brilliant, ruthless. He built an empire of steel, real estate, and quiet influence. We hadn't spoken in years, but when the will was read, everything, every property, every share, every dollar came to me. Not to my father, not to the board, to the grandson no one thought mattered. And I understood why. He had seen what no one else did, my patience, my silence. He knew I could play the long game. So I learned to disappear in plain sight. While the world saw a grieving heir, I rebuilt everything. Changed my name. Consolidated the company under shell firms, trusts, and a new identity. I didn't just inherit his fortune, I inherited his game. And I knew exactly who I wanted to play it against. It started small. She tried to reach out, of course. A few messages here and there. "I heard about your grandfather. I'm sorry. I hope you're okay." I ignored them. Then I heard through a mutual friend that her new lover had left her. Business went bad. Debts piled up. That's when she decided to come for me, or what she thought was my money. The lawsuit came 6 months later, filed under my old name. She claimed our marriage entitled her to half of the inheritance, that she'd supported me emotionally through hardship. I smiled when I read the papers. She didn't even know who she was suing. Because the man she'd divorced, the one she thought was broke, legally no longer existed. Everything now belonged to someone else. Me. Just not the me she knew. But I played along. I hired a lawyer under the old name, let her believe she had the upper hand, watched her preen on social media about getting what she deserved. And then I made my move. The day of the hearing, I arrived just as the judge was calling the case. She was already there, hair styled, jewelry flashing, her confidence dripping like cheap perfume. When I entered, she turned. For a second, confusion flickered. I wasn't in the worn-out suits she remembered. I wasn't the man who used to apologize for not being enough. I was composed, tailored, untouchable. She leaned toward her lawyer and whispered something, smirking again, the same arrogance that had once gutted me. The judge began reading the case summary, her name, my old name, the claim to half of the estate. Then his voice faltered. He frowned, checked the documents again. "Wait," he said, glancing up. "The charges are against you?" Her lawyer stammered. The clerk double-checked the filing. Because the estate, the entire inheritance, was held under a different name. And that name was me. The plaintiff had accidentally sued the very trust that owned my fortune. And in legal terms, she was now suing herself, because one of the shell companies she'd invested in last year, with what little money she had left, was part of my chain. She'd walked straight into her own trap. Her face drained of color. Her hands trembled. I watched her eyes dart toward me. Not angry now, but scared. Really, truly scared. I didn't smile. I just looked at her, calm, steady, the way my grandfather once looked at men who tried to outplay him. The judge dismissed the case with prejudice, meaning she could never file again. When I left the courtroom, she was still standing there, frozen. Her lover had abandoned her, her finances destroyed, her reputation gone.